Ever felt like the secret to real success is just out of reach, hidden behind closed doors? Well, what if I told you that some of the most powerful strategies are hidden not in plain sight, but in the shadows of history? Today we'll be exploring Machiavellian principles, strategies from Niccolò Machiavelli, a name synonymous with cunning and controversial tactics. Machiavelli's ideas are not for everyone. They require a boldness to see beyond conventional hard work equals success narratives. These strategies analyze the darker yet profoundly impactful aspects of human behavior, offering insights that could revolutionize your approach to success. We're not just discussing theory, we're applying these age-old principles to modern-day scenarios. Each principle we explore will unveil a larger part of Machiavelli's playbook on power and success. You'll learn how to harness these tactics effectively to not just succeed, but excel ahead of your peers in your endeavors. And if you stick around, I'll reveal a key tactic, one of Machiavelli's most overlooked yet powerful strategies that could change how you influence and lead. Look out for it in the 7th principle. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. The first Machiavellian principle, real victims suffer in silence. Posers pretending to be victims do so to gain money and status. It's a profound observation of human behavior, but what does it really reveal about how individuals act within society? This principle urges us to distinguish between true suffering and manipulation. Posers tend to amplify their hardships, using their stories as tools for personal gain. On the other hand, genuine victims often remain quiet, possibly too humble or overwhelmed to seek assistance. How can this insight be applied in your daily life? Observe the consistency of someone's distress. Are they seeking help or attention? Consider this. If people can play the victim to gain advantages, what might happen when they are placed in positions where betrayal could offer even greater rewards? Transitioning from real versus posed victimhood, let's explore another Machiavellian principle. People don't want to be betrayed, but most will betray if it suits them. The standard of morality people demand of others is higher than that which they demand of themselves. This principle exposes a fundamental irony. Individuals often expect unwavering loyalty and high moral standards from others, yet may not hold themselves to the same strict codes. This discrepancy can lead to betrayal when personal gains are at stake. How can you protect yourself from such betrayals? First, be mindful of the moral standards you set for yourself and others. Consistency is key. People's behavior under pressure reveals more about their true moral compass than their calm assertions do. Think about the role of interpretation in these dynamics. If personal actions can betray moral standards, how much more can manipulation shape our perceptions? As we've seen with the complexities of morality and betrayal, the power of interpretation cannot be underestimated. The next Machiavellian principle states, interpretation is always perverted to suit the agenda of the interpreter. Whoever controls the flow of interpretation dominates. But what does this actually mean? This principle highlights how interpretation acts as a lens through which we view the world. Those who control this lens can shape perceptions to their advantage, influencing decisions and behaviors. By manipulating how information is presented, powerful interpreters can alter the perceived reality of others, steering outcomes in their favor. How can you apply this understanding to control narratives in your own life? Being aware of how information is framed is crucial. Always question the source and the context. Why is this information being presented this way? Consider how trust plays into these dynamics. If interpretation can dominate through control, how does this affect our trust in the institutions and individuals who wield this power? Following on interpretation and perspectives, let's examine another Machiavellian principle. Trust the average man as much as you trust your government. Occasionally there's a good candidate. Most aren't worth your vote. This provocative statement challenges us to reflect on the nature of trust and skepticism in our daily interactions and societal structures. The core message can be interpreted as a call for healthy skepticism. Just like with voting, Machiavelli suggests we shouldn't blindly trust someone based on title or position. Look for evidence of competence and integrity. By carefully evaluating trustworthiness, you can avoid disappointment and build stronger, more meaningful connections. As we move on, let's consider how strong personalities interact with this concept of trust. Building on our discussion of trust and skepticism, let's explore the dynamics of power and influence. The Machiavellian insight here is, strong personalities hate the weak and distrust the strong. A man who considers himself a king rarely wants to share the room with another. This principle speaks to the natural tension that exists between strong individuals. In any group, those with dominant personalities strive to assert their authority and influence. They often view others through a competitive lens, seeing the weak as targets and equals as threats. How do you effectively deal with strong personalities, especially in high-stakes environments? When interacting with dominant individuals, focus on areas of mutual benefit to foster cooperation instead of competition. Consider how verbal skills play into these dynamics. If strong personalities dominate through their presence, how much more can one influence through skilled communication? Let's examine another critical Machiavellian principle. Never hesitate to work on your verbal dexterity, vocabulary, and comprehension. Debate lots with people who don't matter. Strong articulation is a form of soft power. This principle emphasizes the significant role that effective communication plays in exerting influence and navigating social dynamics. Verbal dexterity involves more than just choosing the right words. It's about crafting your messages in a way that they resonate with and persuade others. How can you enhance your verbal skills to maximize influence? Engage in discussions and debates, especially with those who hold different views. This not only sharpens your ability to think on your feet, but also improves your skill in framing arguments effectively. Remember, the more adept you are at communicating, the more likely you are to influence outcomes in your favor. On the flip side, think about how sometimes appearing less knowledgeable or playing down one's intelligence, what we might call the freedom in stupidity, can be an equally strategic approach. Remember the key tactic I mentioned earlier in the video that is often overlooked as a strategy? Here it is. There's a lot of freedom in stupidity. Playing dumb is often profitable. This idea might raise eyebrows, but it serves as a strategic tool in many social and professional contexts. Why might someone choose to underplay their intelligence, and what advantages could this possibly bring? The strategic use of playing dumb allows individuals to avoid confrontation, gather information, and even manipulate situations to their favor. When might playing dumb be advantageous? Consider negotiation scenarios where revealing less about what you know strengthens your position. This strategy can also be useful in social settings where being perceived as non-threatening can lead to more genuine interactions or unexpected opportunities. Consider how being perceptive relates to the act of playing dumb. If withholding one's insight can be advantageous, what implications does this have for those who are naturally perceptive? Following our discussion on the strategic use of playing dumb, let's pivot to a related Machiavellian principle. Too much perception can spark a person's paranoia. Perceptiveness is threatening to those aware of their ill nature. In suspicious company, appear less perceptive. This principle highlights how our perceptiveness can sometimes lead to paranoia, both in ourselves and others. High perceptiveness allows individuals to notice subtleties and underlying motives, which can be an asset. However, this heightened awareness can also foster paranoia when one senses hidden agendas or deceit. Similarly, being perceived as highly perceptive can threaten others, especially those with something to hide. How then can you manage your perceptiveness in sensitive situations? The key is discretion. Use your perceptiveness to inform your actions and decisions subtly. Think about how the application of rules comes into play. If being too perceptive can be problematic, how do we navigate the rules that govern our interactions? From the nuances of perception and paranoia, let's explore another Machiavellian principle. Appraise a rule by its worth. Do not defy a rule for the sake of defiance. Some rules protect the ruled, others protect rulers. Distinguish. It's essential to recognize that not all rules are created equal. Some are designed to maintain order and fairness, serving the interests of the ruled. Others are crafted to consolidate power and control, primarily benefiting those who rule. How do you apply this insight in real life? Begin by questioning the rules you encounter. Who does this rule benefit? What is its purpose? This critical approach will help you decide when it is wise to comply and when it might be necessary to challenge or break a rule. Consider how all these insights about power, perception, and rules play into the larger context of our lives. We are all part of a broader game, the game of life. Transitioning from the discussion of rules, here's a powerful Machiavellian principle that ties together many of the themes we've explored. We're all players in a game. You're a player or a piece on the board. You move or you're moved. You play the game or the game plays you. This metaphor of life as a game captures the essence of strategic living and decision making. In this game, being a player means actively making decisions that influence your path and outcomes, while being a piece suggests passivity, being moved by others' choices and the circumstances around you. How can you ensure you are a player and not merely a piece? Engage actively with your surroundings rather than just reacting to them. In the game of life, being a player means embracing urgency and responsibility for your trajectory. Are there areas where you're merely reacting, being moved like a piece on a board? What changes can you make to become a player who shapes not only your own destiny, but potentially influences the game itself? Understanding and applying these Machiavellian principles can transform how you you approach your personal and professional life. They equip you to navigate complex social dynamics with a new level of strategic insight. If you found today's exploration into the art of Machiavellian tactics enlightening, you'll definitely want to expand your knowledge further. Check out my other video on the first 25 Machiavellian principles. It's designed to complement what we've discussed today, offering you additional tools to master the game of influence and power. I'll see you in the next video. Don't miss out on harnessing the full power of Machiavellian wisdom.